could be in the right place.
Oh, yeah, well, I'm like a resident, a non-civilian. I won't hurt you.
No,
Do you have something on the agenda tonight?
for Old Kings Highway Historic District Committee?
Good evening, and welcome to this meeting of the Old Kings Highway Committee of the Town of Yarmouth, which is being held in accordance with Chapter 470 of the Acts of 1973 as amended, at 7:15 p.m. on Monday, January 22nd, at the Yarmouth Town Hall Hearing Room, located at 1146 Route 28, South Yarmouth. Moreover, pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021, considering certain COVID-19 measures, this meeting is being run in hybrid mode, which means live participation, some Zoom participation, and there may be some phone call-ins as well. 3 new applications for certificates of appropriateness and 1 tabled certificate of appropriateness will be heard this evening in the order listed on the agenda. Please be reminded that our committee's main purpose is to review items for appropriateness and setting, and it is the responsibility of the applicant to comply with the regulations of other town boards and departments, including building, conservation, engineering, health, zoning, and the sign inspector. You should also know that there is a 10 calendar day appeal period starting once a decision is filed with the town clerk. Any person aggrieved by our decision tonight can appeal to the Regional Commission of the Old Kings Highway Historic District. Our office administrator, Lisa Sherman, will be happy to answer any questions you may have regarding this process. So for those of you who are not familiar with our procedure, I will ask the applicant and/or applicant's representative, if present, to step at the table in front of us, speak into the microphones, identify him, her, or themselves, and state completely their application without interruption from members of this committee or the public, after which the committee will be asked by me to make comments, ask questions. After that, the audience, abutters or other interested members of the public will be free to make comments and ask questions. So the first application on the agenda tonight is 24-A007. It's to install 19 solar panels on the front roof at 43 Arrowhead Drive. Richard Buckle is the owner, and Freedom Forever MA LLC is the agent. And who do we have this evening?
I think they're on Zoom.
Yes.
Representative from Freedom Forever.
Hi.
Hi,
I am representing Freedom Forever.
we hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Okay, good. Sorry.
Could you give us your name,
I'm
please?
Sorry.
Could you give us your name, please?
Katie Ruggieri.
Okay, and tell us about your application.
Okay, so we are looking to install a residential roof-mounted PV solar system. It will be 19 panels. No battery storage installed, just the panels on the roof. The square footage of it will be 390.38 square feet, and the panels will be facing Arrowhead Drive, so facing the road. One of the best, I think if you look at the plans on page 2, is the best representative of what it would kind of look like. And that's kind of like what I like to refer to. If you look at the diagram on the right side of the drawing, you'll see Arrowhead Drive, and then those 19 panels will be facing it.
Is that it?
okay.
Yeah, also, I'm so sorry. The panels are black on black. They look very nice usually. We like them the most. We call them our pretty panels. Yeah, and any other questions you have about that, I'm more than happy to answer.
Okay. Are there comments or questions from the committee?
I have, hi, Ms. Ruggieri. I'm curious, being that this is facing the street, why, the issue I have with it, I know there's a chimney in the way, but it seems there's an opportunity to actually add 4 panels. And why not maximize that? For example, the one missing, as we look at the plan from the street, let's say the upper right-hand corner, add one there, and then 3 more on the left side, which would make something of a uniform. We have the chimney in the way, as it were. I'll use that term. But why didn't go for that? Simply to make it a little more
Uniform.
uniform. Thank you. Good
I
word.
completely understand. So it looks like we could not on the. It looks like there might be something in the way of that top spot that you were talking about. I completely understand what you're asking. It looks like there's a little circle that's orange that may be in the way if you move the panel there. On the second page. Do you see that?
No, I see what you're talking
Okay.
about. And then from that, I would say, what if it looks like it's very close, because I kind of drew in a rectangle, slid the thing down, again, I'll say from your drawing, as if we're standing facing the house.
Yeah.
Slid the thing down 12 inches or 18 inches towards actually, it would almost be better, towards the
Gutters?
well, no, not gutters. No, slid it along towards the rake of the house. Slid it to the left, I'll just say to the left.
Yeah,
I'd
that's
say-
something that can be discussed with the homeowner and can be discussed with the designers. I don't think it would get in the way. So the reason why they decide on the amount of the panels is because of the production that's needed. We actually can't have too much production and we can't have too little production because it interferes with the billing, interferes with how much money people are getting back, how much money people are spending. And the reason why it's in the front, I know you didn't ask, but the reason why it's in the front of the house is because we actually get more sun from that area. Because before we even have, create plans, they actually do a shade report and a sun report. And where they put the panels is where they get the most sun. But what you're suggesting is shifting down a little bit so it's a little more uniform or center. We can always bring that to the homeowner and bring that to the design team to see if that's something that can be done, if that would help with approval.
I think it would, from my opinion. And I mean, I'm looking at it. The house is almost on a north-south axis longitudinally, but I see that it does shift a little, slightly more to the south on the front, but it's practically north-south. Yeah, it just seems that with, I understand what you're looking for production, but if the idea of all of this is to, I know that the power companies have to buy back excess power that it produces. I just think it would be a lot better if this thing had a little more regular arrangement. That's all I have to say.
I could note that I think on the top upper right hand, if we're facing the front of the house corner, I believe there's a vent pipe. And I think that's why they can't put the third panel at the top.
It would seems that what might have been done is that chimney has been used somehow as a center point for those lower 2 panels, roughly.
And that would be for sun.
But if this whole thing shifted down towards the bottom of the drawing,
Meaning the gutter, the front of the house, right?
well, that's what you're saying, the gutter side, yes, I'm saying longitudinally, from the length of the house. If the whole thing shifted down, you clear whatever obstruction is there. There's there's more room on the, what I will say, south side of the house, which is the bottom of the drawing, than the north. If the whole thing shifted down, I think more concern was given towards how this thing balances around the chimney than how it sits on the roof. And I would just say that adding adding more panels, or maybe not, but shifting it down and adding at least one panel in that one blank spot would be preferable to it being as it is now, which is so irregular that it's.
So I couldn't promise or really be confident that we could add a panel, but I could say that we
again.
could change the layout.
I didn't get that. What did you say?
Sorry, I couldn't say if we could add a panel, to be honest, because it does change the production, even adding one panel. However, I can say that we can look at the layout and change the layout.
Let me ask you, you changed the production. Am I wrong in saying that it would be in a positive way? If you added a panel, it would produce more electricity, correct?
So, and I am not the expert in it. So how I'm explaining it to you is not the most scientific or, a way an
That's
electrician would explain
appreciated,
it.
actually. So please go ahead.
So if we do more than what would be required, it would be a negative. So
You lose money.
right.
The
They
owner.
would,
Because you can't overproduce. You can't put in more solar and thereby get more production than you can use.
But I thought if you produced more energy than you use, the energy companies, even if I had a mill that produced power with a water wheel, it is bought back.
No, at a loss. Yes, if you
So
were a
before
business and you could go out and do a contract with Eversource to just produce energy, produce as much as you can. But for a homeowner who's got a contract with Eversource to buy electricity, they cannot overproduce. They'll get reimbursed, but it's at a lesser amount than it costs them to put in this extra solar panel.
before we even are allowed to permit, we need approval from the utility company. It very much is
Stacked
a
in their
big,
favor.
yes.
Very much stacked. They use your home as a utility, and they're only interested in producing what makes the most money for them. Understood. Okay.
They don't want to lose money is more like
Well-
what their position would be. And I would note that when you're talking about moving the whole array down closer to the roof line, remember what we learned from the most recent application about the fire departments are now asking that they have enough room to walk along the roof line. So I'm not
That's
quite sure
accurate.
that she could do that,
that
or they
is.
could do that.
Just for your information too, so looking at other plans as well, when you look on that page that we were looking before, page 2, that red with the slants, that is our fire setbacks. So that is on our plan, so the fire department knows where they can be walking.
Right.
So that's what our company uses.
Okay, so this wouldn't interfere with that, but okay. Thank you, that's helpful to know. We're at Reed's Fire Access Pathways? Yes, okay, thank you. All right, understood.
I just have one comment to make on this. I made sure I drove down that street in both directions and the streets parallel to it, looking for other houses with solar panels, and I didn't see any. So we don't usually go for solar panels on the front of homes, and I always feel more comfortable when abutters write in letters of agreement that they have no problem with solar panels on the front of the houses that they're going to look at. But I don't see any letters in support of that. So that's the only observation I made, and we'll see where it falls.
Understood.
Well, I think the fact that this is a through street, it's not a dead-end street. There are no other solar panels on the street, which is definitely a consideration. Our charge is to consider appropriateness and setting. So the setting is an important consideration for this body. And I think the discussion about the awkwardness of the array is germane. Unfortunately, the roof with the pipe and especially the chimney doesn't lend itself to a nice contiguous array, which is what we would prefer to see. The color of the roof is an issue because the contrast of the solar panels with the light roof will make that array even more conspicuous. So in my mind, this is an uphill climb, this application.
Okay.
And Mrs. Ecker hasn't spoken yet, but if I could just say one thing.
speak as
And
well.
of course, and I know Cindy, you're waiting there, but I wonder, knowing and accepting that if there is really no south-facing portion of this house except for the eave end of the house, which faces almost due south. But with that being the case, I know you can't produce more, I understand. Ms. Argo explained it well, although I'd love to read more on that about buying it back and all. It has nothing to do really with our charge, but I would be curious for my own interest. But if it did move to the back of the house, which again, it's a little more preferable certainly on the side it's on, but it still has a west face on the back, and I see one vent pipe for the bathroom there. I would think it would then allow for maybe more panels would be required because of the lack of aspect facing the south. And you certainly have the roof form to do it, pretty much whatever you would wish to do. And I just wonder if that's an option, and you could really maximize it, or get at least what you have on this side, probably with a few more panels, but it wouldn't be something you would see from the street.
Yeah, that's something that I would need to go back to our design and our engineering group to see what they would need. You are correct that if it's something that could be done, it probably would be more panels on the back of the roof, but that's something that I would have to go back and discuss with them to see if that would be possible.
My memory too is that the back of the house butts up against the tree line. There's a little yard, but not a lot. So I
There's
think
a lot of shade.
you're getting
a
into
lot
a
of shade.
shading issue. And it just- for anybody, may I speak next, or would you like to hear Ms. Ecker?
Well, I think everyone will get a chance to speak. Cindy has been waiting, so.
Thank you. Hi, Katie.
Hello.
So the facade, the front of the house primarily faces east, is that correct?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yes.
So the back of the house faces west. I understand there may be some more trees. So interestingly, if you look at the picture that you included in the packet that was submitted,
Yes.
the one that has the orange outline of where the panels should go with an arrow pointing toward the front of the house, approximate
Yeah.
solar location. Do you all see what I'm talking about?
Yes.
So the house that's at the very bottom of that photograph, the house is directly to the left of this house. It's the same style house, and you can see just disappearing off the bottom edge of that copy is a solar panel on the rear roof. It's actually held up with some PVC pipes, so it's at an angle, presumably to have a better direction toward the sun. Maybe it's facing a little bit more southwest than west. And I'm wondering if that's something that could be considered for this house.
So that's something I will need to bring back to our design crew. A big part is the shading, and I know that it does look like, oh, there is some sun we get back there, because I can see the photo that you are referencing, and you can see some sun on the back roof.
Yep.
But it's mostly shade. So to do what you suggested with it being slightly uplifted, that's something that we would have to bring back to the design crew and our engineers to see if that's something we can work with. But it's I would say it's a possibility. I do not think that we installed on that house, so
Okay.
I'm not sure, what our team can do, but I don't believe we installed on that house.
Okay, I would like to see some investigation made into what could be done on the west roof that's not facing the street, if it's possible, to get the electricity they need, doing it that way.
Understood.
Okay, yes.
Okay, so everybody knows I'm a solar advocate. That's why I'm here. And our chair noted that the decision that's to be made is supposed to be based on appropriateness and setting. And this is a basically a street that goes a couple of blocks, and then it meets with Starbuck, which then spits everything back out onto what is a historic road. But both Arrowhead and Starbuck are modern homes. This one was built in 1977. I would hazard that all of them were built around that time. There's nothing historic in those houses or in those two streets that combine to make a circle back out. So from my viewpoint, there's no reason to punish these people with the fact that they need to adhere to a visual standard that is, because they landed in a historic district, they are not historic. There's nothing historic. None of our tourists are going to wander into this neighborhood and be shocked at seeing solar panels on a house. And that's my statement about this. It should be approved, and if it isn't, that's why we're going to the legislature to try to make changes.
As a matter of definition, historic is not synonymous with antique. Historic simply means in the past. It can be 100 years in the past, it can be 50 years in the past. So to say that the houses in that neighborhood are not historic is actually a misstatement. It's recent history, it's recent history, it's not antique history, but there is a commonality to the houses on the street. It has its own personality and consistency, and I don't think it's arguable that to put solar panels conspicuously on the front of that roof, on that house, in that neighborhood would be jarringly inconsistent with the character of the neighborhood. Now,
I disagree.
we do have exemptions for rooftop solar panel arrays, but obviously this particular application doesn't qualify for a number of different reasons. The roof length is probably greater than 50 feet, so it doesn't qualify on that score. The shingles shall be of a dark color to blend with a solar panel array. They're not. The solar panels shall have a contiguous rectangular pattern, shall not be broken up with visual gaps or disjointed sections. So it doesn't qualify on at least 3 of the 10 required conditions for an exemption, which is why it's coming before us as a COA.
I would like to move to approve, and you can get your denials up front and center.
All right, there's a motion to, by the way, we have not yet heard from the public if the public wishes to speak. So are there any abutters or other interested members of the public who would like to speak to this application? All right, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Is there a second? All right.
Can I submit a counter motion?
Are you ready to move?
May I submit a counter motion?
Yes, we need a motion of some sort.
I move to deny the application.
Is there a second to the motion to deny?
I'll second that.
All in favor of denying this application signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. All opposed?
Nay.
Application is denied, 4-1.
Thank you. Can I just get confirmation for what I can bring back to our design team? And it's that we would like to move these to the west back of the house if possible, and would like the panels to match more with the color of the roof.
Good luck with that.
If they're on the west roof, they don't need to match because it won't be visible.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you so much.
If they're on the rear roof or the west roof, I think that the configuration of them, obviously make it as regular as you could, but I would say that's less important. It's clear it's not going to be a giant rectangle because you have that, I'm sure it's a bathroom vent that shows there. So there's a panel that's not going to go there. But I don't think it would be an issue here.
Okay, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
You.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Probably.
Out there in the trash cans, did you hear it?
No.
Really?
Hanging around the trash cans.
Sorry.
Please.
Is that lady still out there?
Is that woman's?
I don't know.
She's upstairs.
No, she's upstairs.
And she was confused.
I know, well, I think as somebody in the audience is saying,
Yes.
it might
Are
be.
there other meeting rooms upstairs?
Nobody's in them
Yeah,
tonight.
there's nothing else going on except this one.
There is? No.
There's not.
Wonder if we should call.
All right.
When did your production start?
Very confused.
February 1st.
I believe I might have seen her actually online at a meeting
Seen her around.
situation.
The next item on the agenda is 24-A008 is to convert a garage into a living space at 11 Sleeping Dog Path. Matt Stolfus is the owner. Alexei Ledbedev?
That works.
Did I get close to that? Ledbedev?
Lebedev.
Okay. Good. So, would you present your application, please?
Hello, everyone. My name is Alex. I'm a general contractor. Represent the homeowner at 11 Sleeping Dog Path. So what we planning on doing is to convert the garage into the living space. It would be a kitchen, bathroom, and like a little living room for the homeowner's mother because she's moving back with him. So basically, the major of the work is going to be happening inside, and Matt wants to keep the exterior look the same as he has now. So even though we're going to remove the garage doors, but we will frame the wall and create an illusion that the garage doors are still there. So we'll frame it back behind the existing wall, and then we'll trim out where the doors was with the PVC sheets and trim boards, and we will install the transom windows at the top to create the full illusion that the doors are there.
And are you done? I'm sorry, Mr.
Yes.
Libet.
Yeah.
Are you, and if this is the case, I'm actually pleased, the doors that are there on the garage
Yes.
have that, this always, as an architect, bugs me, have like this arch form in them, which of course means that the garage itself, the door, the top of it should be arched, which it isn't in this case. You have these arched windows that have no arch above them. You're proposing that they be rectangular.
Yes, and
with
that-
a flat thing across the top, which I think is a vast
Yeah,
improvement.
and then we'll square off the upper corners as well
rid of
to
the
to make it uniform.
And so are you saying to me, and I like this idea, so in order to really have the illusion that they are doors, which of course sits back as it is now from the wall, you're actually going to frame it in such a way so that there's actually effectively a relief before the panel,
Exactly.
the wall that looks like a door, so it'll look like it's set back,
Yeah,
like a door would be.
Yes, by the depth of existing wall.
That's great. How's that going to work inside? I'm just curious.
So basically, from one side to another side, it will be a new exterior wall. So on the inside, you will not even know that it's a additional.
thickening of the wall.
Yes, exactly.
And then the light would be from the transoms, but as also you have a couple of windows at the
Yes,
rear of the garage.
yeah, existing windows in the garage, which we'll use.
And I'm just curious, there's no desire to add windows to the side of the garage?
There is one right now, I believe, but it's behind the tree, so you can't really see it.
Wouldn't be a bad thing anyway. No, I think this actually is an improvement to the look of those garage doors, even though they won't be garage doors.
So I'm puzzled by why you want this to look like a garage when it's no longer a garage.
This is what the homeowner wants.
Is the
He
kitchen
likes the
along that
look.
face?
What is it?
Is the kitchen along that front face?
No, on the back.
So these doors are non-functional. They're purely.
It's a panel, it's a wall.
Yeah, it will be built in
It's a
place.
Hollywood set.
Yeah, yeah.
Strange,
They
but
don't, so they don't want full-size windows. They'd rather have,
Yes, transom window. Yep. Because we're gonna raise the floor system up, and if we'll put the full-size windows, they're gonna be way low. So he actually likes the idea of having a transom.
Can't complain. I'm a little confused, though. The picture shows the arch, but your drawings don't.
Square, yes,
Which is going to happen?
square.
Oh,
so
I can't get exact window, like,
I was saying, Liz, I always think it's a mistake when folks do this. They put the garage door opening. If you're going to use a garage door that has arched windows, you should have even though the door is rectangular, you should have an arched head to the garage so that the windows look like they conform to an arch. Most people don't do that, so it looks a little weird.
where are the arched windows?
On the garage as it exists, if you look,
Oh,
you can see they
if
kind
you
of
look
form an
closely, the
arch.
two sides are a little
See
bit
it?
arched.
you're going to get rid of that.
Yes.
I mean, the chamfer edges?
Oh, no, no.
Am I missing something here?
If you look at the windows, notice how they're
Right.
arched?
Yeah.
So I was saying, you should have arched this, and then it would look like there's an arched window. What they're going to do is get rid of the chamfer, and these windows, let's call them garage windows, it'll be a fake garage door, but these windows will just be rectangular, like the drawing.
Yep.
They'll just be rectangular. So, but what they're going to do is they're going to frame a new wall behind this front wall, so that you see how there's an edge,
Yep.
there will be that setback. It won't just look like they're pasted on.
Okay.
They will appear to be garage doors, which is what the owner wishes to have.
Yeah, and we'll keep two lights on the sides, which will, create the full illusion that.
What a great length to get rid of a garage and keep the garage doors.
Exactly. So for whatever reason, they like the look
Yes.
of the garage. And
They
I,
do.
in a way, I can understand it, because they have a garage, they have a driveway in front of it.
Yep.
And whenever you have these conversions, you can always tell that it was a garage.
Mm-hmm.
It always looks like a garage. It's been, unless you rip up the driveway in front of it. So,
So you're showing two windows on the back,
Yeah,
correct?
those are existing windows.
I'm sorry?
The two windows on the back?
Do they exist currently?
Yeah,
Okay.
they exist right
Are you
now.
having no windows on the end of the pseudo garage?
On the end of.
Gable end.
On the
On the
side?
On the side. I believe there is one window there now.
Shown in your drawings.
I'm looking at Google Earth, and there are no windows.
No windows on the.
There's a tree in front of it, but, I walked up, I didn't look for windows, but there's no window on the side.
It will be a kitchen on that side anyway, L-shaped kitchen with the upper cabinets.
there's a
So
new door going on the side. A new 3.0 by 6.8 door that will be going on the gable end.
Well, that, on the gable end.
On the gable end, not on the side.
Well,
on the.
no, I'm sorry, no, on the side, yes, on the eave end. There'll be a door towards the front.
Yeah.
I won't write on your thing, yes, there'll be a door around there.
Garage door would be.
But it'll be a person door, it'll be 3.0 by 6.8.
Facing the house, where are you talking?
It will be, if you look at the drawing, So here, so there's the house, this is the front.
Yeah.
This is where the garage doors are now. There's a new door going right here. So if you look at the photographs, there is a door going effectively, I'm gonna write on this, right
okay.
here. Let me pass this
Fine.
down to Liz so she can
No,
see.
I saw it.
You see here?
I see
Going-
it.
There's a new door going right there.
Yep, got it.
And what's the store going to look like?
Door,
Well,
Yes.
9-light door, standard. Like every other, garages have.
No, the door that goes into like the in-law apartment now, the door on the side of the
On the
garage that
side,
you're
yes.
adding is
Yeah,
going to be a solid
fiberglass.
door or a 5-panel
It's
or,
a fiberglass with a 9-light, 2 panels on the bottom.
okay. So it has,
Standard garage door.
it has, yeah.
so just the door, no window on that
No.
end? Okay.
The door will have a window on the upper portion of it, a 9-light divided.
And it'll be positioned closer to the front corner than
No, closer to the middle.
the middle?
Yeah.
Okay, see, I don't have that.
It's kind of on the front. It's like, it's here, Bob. It's like, I just drew it right there. It's like there.
Oh, I see it here. Okay, all right.
This, I'll just point out, this is, and I think we're going to talk about this in the next application too. This is where it is so important to have full elevations of everything and for us to review, because it can easily lead to a denial, in my opinion, to not have accurate and detailed drawings. So we have to guess. So
Yeah,
even
that's
cut-
it. It requires guesswork on our part,
And,
which we would rather not engage in guessing.
There's even the door, a cut sheet for the door so that we can visualize it. And that's where the danger lies. I don't think that there's anything particularly difficult about this application, but as the chairman said, it requires guesswork, us to fill in the gaps, and that's not the best place to be. It looks like it's, benign enough,
So
but
do we feel confident about guessing?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
No, I
we're
don't
all
think it's
confident.
real
Any
challenging.
other comments or questions from the committee? Any comments or questions from abutters or other interested members of the public? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 And aye. Congratulations. All you have to do now, before leaving, is sign this document that says if you're going to make any changes, you'll let us know.
Okay.
You guys aren't in cahoots. You're coming with the same proposal. It's like so weird.
Okay.
Yell at people before they eliminated that.
Yeah.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Alex.
that was the oddest shaped lot I've ever seen. And I know it's for a minimal, you have to have a minimum sized lot.
It's not a dog leg, it's a,
Some pork chop
it's an
lot.
elephant leg, yeah.
For those at home, it's, this house is on this nice little kind of almost muffin top shaped lot, and then there is this bizarre little strip of land that goes behind 3 or 4 houses that it abuts, that really has absolutely no use, but I'm sure it met the minimum lot size, this is true to say.
Oh.
Sorry.
The next item on the agenda is 24-A009, to convert a garage into living space at 2 Cottonwood Street. Anthony Doldo and Rayanne Pileggi?
Yeah.
Got one. Are the owners, and AD Builders is the agent, and I guess we have Anthony and Rihanna.
Yes.
Great. Tell us about your project.
Basically looking to do the same thing, turn my garage into a bedroom, master bath, and a walk-in closet. So I'm going to eliminate the garage doors, but I'm not going to go through what he's doing.
Okay.
So I got 2 windows in the back. You'll see the picture. That's my actual house with the 2 pictures.
Right?
So there's
Little
2.
windmill and the star.
Yes. Well, that's the front.
Oh,
That's the
okay.
front.
That's the front.
Those are staying.
Okay.
The one's in the back, the one on the left, if you're
To
looking
the
at it.
shower.
What's that?
Next to the shower,
Nope.
on the other side of the fence.
Where do you see shower?
Let him present.
Oh, sorry, and it's not a shower.
If we have questions, we'll ask
It's a
questions
fence.
after he's
Okay.
done.
Yeah, it's a fence. Yeah,
Gotcha.
it's a fence. So there's an existing window far to the left, and then there's one to the right. I'm gonna move the one to the right where the old garage doors are, and I'm gonna move the one to the left over for the bathroom. I'm gonna use the existing windows.
On either side of the star?
No,
The ones in the
backside
back,
house.
backside,
With the fence, with the white
with the
fence.
With
fence.
the fence that goes to it, because we got a pool in the backyard. That's why it is, you see the fence there.
That's the fence.
So there's 2 existing windows on the backside. Those are the 2 windows I want to move, and I'm going to reuse them only because down the road, we're going to put new windows in, and she wants black. So I'm not going to buy one black new window. It would look foolish. So I'm basically just relocating 2 windows, getting rid of the 2 garage doors, framing it up, and have an awkward-looking driveway run into the house so you know it was a garage. We need another bedroom.
It's too small.
So it's the same,
You done?
Yep, I'm done.
Okay, all right. Questions or comments from the committee?
so I would say this is another example of drawings that would be very helpful. I think this is very simple of what you're doing, and you're saying you're reusing the existing windows.
Yes.
I'm just curious, the window, and I can see that, so the bathroom and the walk-in closet are on the back side of the house.
Yes.
And you're putting one window, the window that there's one window on the side and one window in the back, from the back. All right. How are you dealing with this fence? Because I'm looking at your photograph, the window as you have drawn over the existing photograph is not to scale, and you look at the photograph and it's much lower than the fence.
Right.
So it's going to go on that side,
On that side, yeah.
the inside yard side of the fence.
Yeah.
But it's going to keep the same relationship with the eave as
Yeah.
it has now.
Yeah, yeah.
And on this side, on the
It'd be the
garage
same.
side, it's going to keep the same head as the windows.
In the front, you
Next
ought to
to
be
the
on the
star.
same elevation. Yep. And I'm actually gonna center that window to the inside wall and the walk-in closet. I'm gonna center it on that wall. Not that it matters.
Why are there windows in this picture?
That's the garage.
Right. But isn't it the same picture?
Yes, that's
So-
a picture. My daughter actually got rid of that doing something. I'm not good at computers.
She took out the windows.
Took out the window.
She photoshopped it.
We don't know how to do anything.
She pixeled it, she said.
with this photograph.
All right.
This is where the garage doors are.
Probably 4.
Well, listen, they had my 2 dogs in wedding dresses. Wedding dress, dancing, and I didn't know how the hell they do
Everything.
that.
We don't know
So-
how to do anything.
You see it here. You can see, if you look at
Yeah.
Liz, if you look underneath
Oh, No, I
where
got
the
it now.
yeah.
He explained it.
Yeah, this is a case where, again, typically I would say I need like real to scale drawings.
Yeah.
I think this is so straightforward,
Well,
and
it-
we can see the
That's
windows.
why I didn't want to pay somebody $500 to
But here's the
draw.
thing,
Well,
you're going to
it-
have to have drawings for the building official, and that's what I'm curious, how are you going to do that? Because this won't cut it with the building official.
I drew up plans for the inside and where the windows were going. It's already in process.
Construction documents, With elevations, they're not going to require that?
Nope. Nope, because all I'm doing is basically framing a floor on the inside and interior walls. I'm not doing anything on the exterior.
All right, so
The inside's already sheet rocked and plastered
All right.
and insulated.
So as I commented on the previous application, there's a small amount of guesswork required based on the lack of scale drawings. So let me see if I can just make sure that we're all on the same page here. So you're proposing one window on the gable end of this house where the garage doors currently reside. And that window will match the existing windows or not?
Yes.
Same height, same size,
Same window.
same grille pattern?
Yep.
Okay, because that's not in, the drawing does not convey that
Yep.
at
There's no
all.
grids.
Okay. All right.
Well, it is on the photograph you have.
That's the top sash of the window. That's the frame of the window, that's all.
Yeah, but the window you're moving has muntins on it, no?
There's grids.
Is there grids on that one?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, if the grids are in it, because the rest of the house doesn't have grids. I didn't even notice that. Thanks for pointing that out.
All the pictures that we have show windows with grids, all of them.
Main house, we don't have any grids.
Okay,
see
we don't
there-
have those pictures, so,
You have grids on that front window, the,
That front picture window, there is grids on that one.
Garage windows there are 4 garage windows as they exist right now.
Yep.
One on either side, when you go in your garage on the gable end, there are 2 windows on this side, there are 2 windows on that side. They're the same window, 4 of the same window.
The same window,
You're going
same
to take
size.
one window on the back side.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're going to move it a little this way. You're going to take the other window, flip it to the gable side, have the head of that window match the head of the window around the corner where the star is.
And that window matches these 2 windows that are on the garage already,
Yes.
which don't match the rest of the windows, but at least they
the
match
house.
the windows on the garage.
Match the windows on the,
That's how we got it.
We got you.
I have one question.
Gotcha.
Cindy has a question.
go ahead, Cindy.
So I understand you're moving one window to the front facade of the garage. Where is it going to be centered? Is it going to be sort of where that garage light is now, the carriage light?
It's kind of, it's more centered over the right garage door as it exists now.
yeah.
Maybe
So it's
not
going to be off
quite.
center on that facade.
But it won't really matter, because there won't be, as you look at the kind of Photoshop drawing, it will be nothing, no trim from the garage will be left. It'll just be a shingled wall.
Okay.
And it is a shingled wall, correct? Cedar shingles.
No, that's 3-panel, that's triple vinyl.
Oh, it is. I'm sorry.
now it's
I'm sorry.
vinyl.
It's the back of the house.
I may decide to shake that side, I don't know yet.
Why not 2 windows on that gable end? I'm a big
Because
proponent of balance,
the
and
walk-
this is so unbalanced, it just
Because there's a
drives me
walk-in
crazy.
closet where the other garage door is. There'll be no room for it.
That whole width is walk-in closet?
It's 20 feet wide, so that's gonna come out about 8 feet, so.
There's no storage in the house.
Change into black windows down the road.
I need a walk-in closet.
I really don't want to buy one window,
See it.
and it probably, it'll match somewhat, but I'd rather just use what we have for now.
Until we replace all the windows.
And when you do that, you can put 2 windows in.
Right?
Well, I thought
You
about
like a
putting
window in your walk-in
two
closet.
black windows would just look
Want the
foolish.
walk-in closet.
Walk-in closet has to be located on that wall?
Yes, because I'm doing, as soon as you walk in the door from the living room, that used to be the bedroom, on the right-hand side, back side of the building, I'm gonna have the stackable washing machine and then the bathroom. I need that closest to the house for the pitch to get the plumbing over to my septic. So I can't flip it around, it'd just be too much to
Well,
get the
it's
pitch
better to
for
have
the
the window in
plumbing
the front
to
than
get
the
into the
back.
house. So I need it closest to the wall, to the main wall of the house. Otherwise, yes, I would have.
I don't have an issue with the asymmetry of it.
I don't either.
Sorry, Mr.
I
Chairman.
crossed a bear. Any other questions from the committee or comments?
Nope.
Any questions or comments from abutters or other interested members of the public? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve 24-A009.
I'll second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 I'll abstain.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. If you'll sign this document that says if you're going to make any change, like, make nice symmetrical windows, you'll let us know.
Thank you.
And make Bob's day.
I'll do my best.
Okay.
I'll do my best.
Well, I mean, you could move them both a little more towards the center and get another window.
Yeah.
And it's always nice to have, what direction does that face?
That face is,
Myrtle Lane, right?
yeah,
No, what's south, the gable end?
the gable end.
It's the north, I think,
I
isn't
think
it?
it is the north, yes.
Well, that north light's a nice, consistent light. That's why Painter Studios
also dim.
always have north light, so you can take up painting.
He is gonna be
Maybe I
painting.
can, maybe I can paint the garage doors there. Do I need to sign this as well?
No, unless you don't trust your better half, so, okay.
Enjoy it.
All right, guys.
All set?
See you later.
Thank you. Good luck.
When do you hope to have this finished?
Tomorrow.
I gotta wait for the approval for it to come out. So, hopefully, in a month or so, I can start.
We got a grandkid coming, so we need that third room.
Ah,
Congratulations. Well, I shouldn't say that. You're not supposed to congratulate people in advance.
All right, so we
Good night.
finally have Michael Palmer on Zoom.
oh, she's going out again.
He's been MIA.
He's there. Mr. Palmer's there.
Well, he's on Zoom.
Yep.
So, unless that's a fake.
Just followed him out like that. On a mission.
Yeah, I have no idea what she's up to.
Okay.
Sir?
Thank you.
Which I thought was the problem. Communicating.
Okay, we have a tabled application.
How did they learn to
23-A134 is to replace a garage door and paint front and breezeway doors at 232 Route 6A, and we need to untable this application.
I move to untable this application.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 And aye. Okay, now, do we have Mr. Palmer present? Looks like we do tonight.
You. And he's
Can you
raised
hear
his
us?
hand. Mr. Palmer, you're muted.
We can't hear you.
That's because he's deaf. Oh, there we go.
How is that? Is that better?
Much better.
Oh, thank God.
All right. Great. Present your application.
Okay, first, I apologize to the board for missing the last couple. I traveled quite a bit. In fact, I'm in an airport hubby right now, so hopefully you can hear me okay.
You could speak a little louder, that'd be great.
Okay, my application is to paint my two doors on the breezeway and front door, historical blue, this is Sherman-Williams historical blue, and to create a new garage door and paint that black.
Is that it, Mr. Palmer?
That's it.
Mr. Palmer, the photograph you have of the really beautiful carriage doors, is that something you've effectively photoshopped on yours? I don't think so. Or is that just
No.
an example of the kind of look you're going to get from the door?
The door is going to be very similar to those, almost exactly the same. Obviously, sized a bit differently because it's a
Yes.
but it's going to have that exact look.
Are they going to be? Is it going to be a lifting door in segments like like we use today, or will it in fact be two doors that swing in?
The plan is to have them as carriage doors that swing.
Oh my goodness! Swing out,
Nice.
swing in. Either way, I
Swing
don't
out.
care.
Swing out in historical fashion.
Wow. That's fantastic.
Do you have the chip? Anybody have the
I
chip?
have the chip. Here you are.
Great, good enough.
And it's a handsome blue, and it's going to be a gloss black on the door?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, wow. Boy, no one does that anymore, and I think it's,
What is this girl called?
that's the color for the doors, the front door. The front door and.
that he's painting,
Yes.
okay.
I commend you on putting in actual swinging carriage doors. It's not something you see very much, and it certainly isn't the most convenient thing for us today with our cars, but nothing looks as beautiful as that, so.
I have a question about just an aesthetic detail. Are these beadboards, these panels? Michael?
Garage door.
I'm sorry,
Garage
what
doors?
is that?
Are they beadboards?
No,
Where
they'll
they
be
join?
individual.
Are they beadboards?
Yeah, they're individual panels of wood.
Is it a
that'll be
V
joined.
groove
So
or a bead, or what is the profile for the vertical?
it's, I'm trying to think of what the name of the board is. It's not one sheet. It's individual boards.
Oh.
And they do have an overlapping edge, though.
Is it
So
a
there's a bit
bead?
of an overlapping edge, but it's not quite beadboard, because every beadboard to me is like one piece of board has two
Yes.
Grooves.
things
Well,
in it, like
yes.
grooves. This won't. This is just,
I'm just curious as to,
Profile. So you're actually this is going to be a door made in the true historic fashion of a frame with individual tongue and groove vertical boards.
tongue and groove, yes. That's
Yes,
the word I was looking
vertical
for.
boards. So what the
Yes.
chairman's asking is where they meet, is what
Yeah.
what the profile is. Is it like a kind of a half round kind of bead? Is it a V groove where there's just kind of a V? Each board has
it's
an
a-
angle on it.
Yeah, it's a V groove where they meet. I'm sorry.
It's a V groove where they meet. Okay. So
Okay.
it's
Yes.
a V groove.
okay. Either one would be nice. I just
Oh, wow.
want to know what I'm going to be seeing when this is done.
You're going to be seeing a beautiful, beautiful set of doors. That's what you're going to be seeing. Wow, that's fantastic.
Well, I guess you got one endorsement for sure. So,
I
Quick,
don't like
quick
it
vote.
at all.
any other comments or questions from the committee?
What are you going to do for hardware on the pulls?
They'll be blacked. We will get, I would say historical looking.
Mr. Palmer, I would, if I may, did you know that Barnstable has a blacksmith?
Actually, yes, I've been there. I burned my hand in that shop.
So,
And that's where I'm going to go.
and he
I will-
does
I will
beautiful,
absolutely go there.
beautiful
Yeah.
work, and it is remarkably affordable.
Reasonable money.
Very,
Yeah, and-
very reasonable money. Well,
Yeah,
that's
I was there.
fantastic.
It ruined my scones from the church across the way, actually.
All right. Are we all done with comments or questions from the committee?
I want to just say that I think it's a big improvement, and I think you're doing a great job at that house, Mike.
Thank you very much.
It's an important house. It's in an important location.
Right.
And it seems just from this application, I understand you have big plans for it from another friend who used to sit as an alternate on this panel, and that's wonderful. So good luck with. We hope we see a lot of wonderful things coming from you on that house.
Well, I guess the outcome of this is not in doubt at this point, but I will entertain a motion.
I move to deny. I move to approve the application.
Oh, Rick, you're so funny. Second.
And there, okay, it's been moved and seconded, and all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And aye, and
Mrs. Ecker.
thank you
raised
very
her
much,
hand.
and good luck with it.
Good luck.
Thank you very much. And
You were
I'll
worth
probably
the
be-
wait, as it turned out.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I've been very eager to
probably
see
be a
this.
frequent guest. I'll be a frequent guest at the
Oh, great.
upcoming meetings, probably. Thank you very much. And again, I apologize for using too much of your time in prior meetings.
Not at all.
By not
Okay.
being there.
Good night.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Good night. Wow. Going to actually make
So that was a pleasant
authentic
surprise.
doors. That's fantastic. They prominently face the street. They're right there.
oh, I
It's going
know.
to be really great.
Okay, we need to approve the minutes of the January 8th meeting.
Move to approve the January 8th minutes. Thank you for sending them.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And aye.
I abstain, I wasn't there.
I must abstain as well.
All right.
I wasn't here.
Quorum, so we can approve.
Yeah.
Oh, I have no other business. If no other committee members have other business.
I do.
Good.
If I may, I know we all want to get out of here, but we have two issues that were subject to violation notices and a letter for which this committee sent out, and there's also a letter issued by the building official, Mr. Grills. One is 405 Route 6A. This is a house, historic house on 6A, which has an L on it. They removed the chimney and replaced the roof without applying for a building permit, without coming before this body. We sent out a letter to them informing them of that and directing them that they must come before us for the next available meeting, which would have been this meeting. Mrs. Sherman has not heard from them. They have not contacted her. They've effectively told us to pound sand by ignoring that really isn't a request. It was a demand, 405 Route 6A, a beautiful half cape, a historic, important building. I think at this point, no attempt has been made to contact us, and I now understand from an abutter that work is being done on this house. I don't know if they have a building permit for interior work, but they are moving forward with whatever they're doing inside, and who knows what else they might be doing, and have not come before us for any approval. So at this point, I think we told them in the letter and warned them that they're subject to a fine. I think we need to pursue that fine. I think the building official may be doing so too on their end for the fact that they never applied for a permit. But I do think this committee does have power. And I will add, the owner of this property is a realtor in this area and fully understands this can't be put away as I didn't know. This is a person who lives in a historic house on Route 6A and sells historic properties. So they know they are subject to the laws of this community. So I move, or I don't know how we do it, go forward with a fine at this point for the demolition. We have photographs of what it looked like before and after, and I think we need to take a stand. I know that the abutters, there are several abutters that wish to come to this meeting to speak of their concerns whence they come, but they have done nothing, and they were told they had to be here for this meeting. That was easily a month and a half ago. Mrs. Sherman, do you know exactly when we sent that letter out? It was November.
It might have been December.
Might have been December, but certainly they had time. They missed the last one. They couldn't have come, even if they had submitted. But this one, they had plenty of time for. Remember, at this point, I think we need to move forward with a fine. I don't think we can allow people to simply do what they wish, thinking that we're not going to do anything. And this is an important historic house. There's a line of these half capes on that street.
Do we have that capacity?
We do. We can impose fines, yes, of
Are
up
they
to
set?
$500 a day.
It's in the bulletin.
It's in the bulletin of up to $500 a day with each day that the offense. So we're going back to November. In the letter, which I don't have in front of me, we have a date of at least when it was removed. So this is a daily fine if we choose to impose it, of $500 a day if we choose to impose a $500 fine. I think we need to do it because this is, particularly given that the owner is a realtor in the town of Yarmouth and knows fully well that anything north of Route 6. This is not someone who can say, I didn't know. So that's my feeling about it as the vice chair and as the representative of the town, as the architect appointee. That's what I think we need to do, because otherwise, why even come before us?
I'm on board. I'm not sure I would impose immediately a $500 a day fine, but I think
Well,
we
what
do
would you
need
do
to
with day?
impose, start with a 500, which would then, start with 500 now, and it will become 500 a day at this point in time if there's no response.
I think it should be 1,000. Let's do one for each month. January and December, $500, although we could do it per day.
And I think we should indicate in the letter that we do have the authority to impose this on a daily basis if we
We
don't
have
get a
sent that
timely
letter.
response.
That
We already
letter was
that
sent.
letter, Okay. I'm looking online right now to see if they have any building permits, and so far I'm not seeing anything.
So that letter was sent, and the specific area of the bylaw was quoted. So they were given notice that, and it was sent by certified mail. So they were given notice that they could be subject to a $500 a day fine. So we've given that warning already, and they have ignored us.
Yeah, I think if you've given the warning, then they had full notice of what the repercussions were.
So I would start the fine at 1,000. However, we can make it retroactive to the date that we know from photographs and from the neighbors that the chimney was gone. So I'm not saying that we start with that. If we don't get a response from them, but certainly we should impose a fine of at least $1,000. That's $500 a month, and we can do $500 a day. But this is provable. We have Google Map images of the house with a chimney on it. We have photographs from neighbors that were submitted of the house without a chimney. We have a complaint by neighbors of the house when it happened.
What do you think, Bob?
I think what we want is compliance. And I understand everything that's been said and what we're entitled to, and it's all correct.
But you want to play nice?
But I want to play nice. I think,
done that so far.
a face-to-face with I'll use the word perpetrator, might be helpful, and I'm willing to do it.
How do we do that? Drag them in by their heels?
No. Yeah,
We've done that. We've served them legal notice.
I understand
I don't
that.
understand
I
why we
understand
won't
that.
exercise our powers.
I agree with
this is-
you, Rick. I think we're way too soft on enforcement.
I agree. We need to, it is beyond, this is particularly given the fact that this owner is a realtor and knows. This isn't someone who moved in and is like, I don't know.
The compromise.
If we're going to pursue this, if we're going to play hardball,
Yes.
I think we should be very careful about exactly how we do it, and I would advise consulting with our lawyer about
Why? We have the power.
I would
No, you have to-
absolutely advise consulting with our lawyer.
then I
There's
will
nothing to be lost by doing
Then
that.
That's fine. Should we do
fine.
that? The
So-
next time we're here and we discuss it, I'm going to push for a fine of $500 a day from the date that it was proven that, from photographic evidence, that they took the chimney down. And
So Rick,
no
what's
nice
the
fine.
end game? Are we looking for them to rebuild the old chimney? What's the end game? Do we want them to rebuild
Maybe,
it?
maybe.
Do we fine them $500 a day until they rebuild it as it was?
Until
I
it
mean,
would
what's
be,
our end
until it would
game?
be repaired, yes, for which they'd have to apply for a permit. But if they said they're going to, we might be rebuilding the chimney. Just because you've done something, like, oops, I knocked it down, we can require them to put it back. Yes.
All right, was there a second?
So what do we do? There is a
have a
second issue.
motion.
There is so,
It's the motion.
what, you're going to discuss it with the attorney?
That would be my vote. Discuss it with, lay out the case and see what he has to say.
I think that's appropriate.
So I'm just curious, even though we know that this has happened, we have photographic proof that this has happened. We have neighbors that have told us that this has happened.
Right.
We
That's the
know
case
it
we could-
has
we-
happened, and we have the authority to impose a fine for not coming before us. We told them in a letter about the fine they were subject to. We told them in a letter and informed them that they must come before us at this meeting. They have not even made an effort to contact this committee through their secretary
Well,
to
here's
tell
what-
us, and we're going to say, well, let's see what our lawyer says.
So here's what I think we should do. I think the vice chairman should draft the case. I should present it, or we can present it, or you can present it
To
to
Jim.
Jim Wilson and get his reaction as to how to proceed based on the case.
And history. I mean, there's got to be some history.
Time. Why doesn't the discussion with the lawyer happen when the letter goes out?
Well, we can't do what didn't happen.
Well, we
I
could
know,
have,
but I'm
but
just saying, is there no precedent? Is there no protocol?
That's what I'm wondering if Jim has.
That's a very good question.
I didn't think we needed to, because we have
We
a
may not
bulletin.
need to, but if we're gonna resort to it now, it seems to me we should do this at the beginning.
Well, we will next time, that's for sure.
We're learning, so we need to get
That we don't
Jim's-
have to consult with our lawyer to do what we're
That's a
empowered to
very
do.
good point, Paula, that we really don't have a history of this kind of aggressive pursuit.
Which is why
I'm
we
not
have
saying,
this
I'm not
happen.
saying we shouldn't engineer the aggressive pursuit, but I think legal guidance is
And
prudent.
fine, I will contact
Be informed.
Mr. Wilson, and at the next meeting, we'll bring it in.
See what he says.
But be prepared to vote on a fine, and a substantial one.
I'm not saying don't do it. I'm saying I think we should proceed cautiously. And I would also be willing to meet with the perpetrator.
I would say
and talk
that's
to him.
inappropriate.
I agree
I
with Bob.
think it is inappropriate for any member of this committee to meet with the people. They should come before this committee and explain themselves.
Whatever the proper format
we'll
would
get-
We
be.
even have an application.
Get
What are
the
we going to meet with them over?
I mean, it's almost like when we were dealing with the Basslers, and we asked him, you've got to meet with these neighbors. So that's where I come from as well.
I don't agree.
Let's meet, we're all on Cape Cod, we're all neighbors, let's meet.
This is
Find out what the problem is, what their excuse is. There could be a real excuse. Somebody may be in the hospital or something. God
No one
knows.
was living in the house. Listen, this is ridiculous. For us to speculate on what may or why they didn't,
but we need to be
they
informed, and
demolished
we
a
can be friendly.
historic chimney on a historic
Let's,
L.
we're
We're rehashing the rehash.
let's
But I don't want
proceed.
us to be meeting with them before we discuss this with the lawyer. They have been certified a notice,
That
and they
was-
have ignored us.
Okay,
fine.
so that's your charge.
That's my charge.
And you're-
there's one more issue. I don't remember the address, Lisa, if you could tell me. We had a complaint from a gentleman, it has to be at least 2 months ago, if not more, about residents of, do you know the address?
6 Rise Knoll.
6 Rise Knoll Road, who built a pallet, like a pallet that stuff comes on at Home Depot, a pallet and wire and I don't know what else, fence, on their property. They were served with a violation notice by this committee and by the building official, who I know has indeed fined them. They ignored this letter. They were sent another certified letter for which they refused to accept service for this letter. So now, do you want to talk to our lawyer again? Or can we impose a fine? These people have refused service notice, and we had a complaint from a neighbor who has actually called me on a few occasions, and I never got back to them, to ask about it, because I did call them to let them know that we had responded to their complaint. So this is something that this person has had to live with, and other neighbors. And apparently, I've seen photographs of it, it is god-awful ugly.
Well, we go into the lawyer. I suggest that we deliver both situations to the lawyer. I mean, how long is that going to take?
No, it won't take,
We
yes,
get-
tomorrow.
So you find out what Mr. Wilson thinks, and we reconvene, or we can move to leave it in the hands of the chair and the vice chair after speaking with Mr. Wilson.
Fine, whatever
I
you
don't
wish
think
to
it
do.
hurts to have this meeting. I just don't.
That-
I know what you're saying.
Meeting with
Rick,
the
that
owner?
we have the authority to do whatever you're talking about, but I don't think it hurts to have this intermediary step.
With the lawyer or with the owner?
Just meet with the lawyer
Wilson.
and say, this is
Yes,
what we're
the
doing,
lawyer.
this is what we have a right to do, and what are your thoughts?
No, fine, I'm fine with that, that's fine.
That, at the very least, it enhances our authority.
Right.
It can't
No, no,
diminish
I-
our
that's fine.
authority by
I'm
having our
fine with it,
lawyer.
and maybe we can get clarification moving forward on
Right.
how we handle
This
these
sets the
matters.
precedent.
Yeah, because I think, and thank you for saying that, Ms. Argo, because I think in prior years, this committee has set something of a precedent, which is, we're pushovers, you can do whatever you want and get away with it, and if you come in and apologize, we say, okay. So I do think that in this instance, it is time, and again, speaking, as is our job, to represent the citizens of this community, I know there are several citizens who have something to say about this that are abutting neighbors, not just people that live here, but abutting neighbors who are really appalled at what happened and want their concerns redressed for their concerns and their anger because they care about their neighborhood and this house, as do
We
I.
had this discussion before about enforcement, and that's been a problem. We haven't really done it. We just, and I've been here almost 5 years, and we have never done it.
Well-
So I think it's high time we do.
Well, thank you for that, because some time ago, I recall recommending a meeting with some of the prime movers in the town to see if we could work out some of these issues that have been perpetuating and linger and fester and cause
a good word.
I think
frustrations.
word gets out that the Old Kings Highway is a pushover.
But what happened, Bob?
I mean, these people that just don't do what we tell them, and they go ahead and put vinyl fences up when we tell them not to, and we don't take any action against them, it just shows that we have absolutely no authority and no teeth, and I think that gives the wrong message.
I
So what
agree.
happened, Bob?
Why would you
when
have rules without enforcement? It's ridiculous.
By the way, Cindy, I want you to know, we actually get to see two of you when you speak. It's very, it's really, we see, when the moment you speak, you fill the screen and we have twins.
And you
Wow,
were
that's
telling us
scary.
a story about what, in the past, there was a move to meet with authorities. and-
We talked about this. We all, as a committee, talked about this. But I think we're getting off subject and so,
So what I'm going to, so I understand my charge is to speak with Mr. Wilson, and maybe you and I both speak with Mr. Wilson. And whichever way, we'll do it together, I don't care, and find out what he recommends in terms of moving forward with the enforcement powers we have. All right.
And I might add that sometimes it's helpful to have that from a lawyer, to have it in written format so that it becomes a part of the record, so that it's not, so we have evidence that this was the advice of our lawyer, and that's how the action came to be.
seems to me it can't hurt.
I'm sure he will recommend that
Yes.
too.
What are we going to do with the dinosaurs?
Oh,
I love the dinosaurs.
Not on 6A.
I love the dinosaurs.
I love them too, but they belong somewhere else.
where are the dinosaurs?
Oh, they're on the corner of Church
200
and
feet.
6A,
Across from the
one house
library.
over.
This is
one
an
house
interesting
east.
thing. I'm sorry, Cindy, please go ahead.
I'm sorry, it's one house east of the intersection of Church Street and Route 6A, across from the chapter house.
So here's the issue, I guess, my take on it is, it's, at what point does art become a matter of taste? If someone wants
Right.
to install something on their lawn.
We
That
spent
is right.
hours talking about how we would like a sign to look.
I agree with you.
But
And
that's
we've got
under
four
our,
dinosaurs that are
Well,
obtrusive.
I agree with you. I'm telling you, I agree with you on this. But this is the conversation I had. If the dinosaur was holding a sign that said "fresh pies," we would have purview over it.
There you go.
But the dinosaur isn't holding a sign that says "fresh pies." The dinosaur is just being a dinosaur, and I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying I agree with you. It's a matter of
So the legal question is, are the dinosaurs a structure?
yeah.
That's the
okay.
question. Are they structures?
Big enough to be.
So let me ask you this. I mean, this is worth discussing, and I think it's an interesting and fun
good one,
discussing.
Paula.
It's a good. So if I bought a beautiful 19th century cast iron fountain that belongs was in a public
but-
park and is 10 feet tall, and I restore it perfectly, and I put it in my front yard and it's running.
There have to be some parameters for these
that
kinds of
okay?
things.
Is that a structure?
Well,
think-
it's a fountain. It's a piece of art.
If you live in a community of houses in places and they tell you can't have brown shutters there, or you can't put out window boxes, we've got to have something like that here.
I would agree with you. I'm not arguing the opposite case. I'm just saying, at
Might
what
have to
point does
investigate.
art become for people a matter of their taste level?
Well, this is all terribly interesting. And
Mr. Shedd?
I think that we should
dealt with
decide
it.
whether these are structures or not. If they're structures, we have purview. If they're not structures, it's an open question as to whether we have purview or not.
Structures or fixtures
Didn't you
that are
just
attached.
have this at the, didn't you just inform us, was it last month, about a meeting at regional about whether something was a structure?
Yes.
What was the thing?
It was a
hedge,
it was
right?
a pile of biodegradable material consisting of fallen down trees and other organic
Matter.
matter, thank you, that had reached a height of about 6 feet and extended between 50 and 100 feet. I don't
If I may
remember
ask-
the precise length of it. And the abutter objected to it because they were looking at this.
I saw.
Right. So the question came down to whether or not this was a structure. And it actually was a 3-2 vote that, no, it wasn't a structure. And they had
tall was it?
they had all kinds of documentation about the historic nature of this particular berm. I'll call it a berm.
Okay.
That's agricultural in nature, and I've forgotten the terminology that was used. Doesn't really matter in my view, but it came down to a 3-2 vote. And interestingly enough, our lawyer's opinion was that it was a structure.
Was it an
And-
intentionally built thing?
Yeah, it was.
It wasn't like
like
you
a burn
dumped
pile.
crap that people
Well,
compiled.
It wasn't. It was nicely dumped. Is what I'll put. It was in a stretch, maybe about as long as this table, maybe
one
a little
end.
bit longer, and high.
Berm?
A privacy thing?
You can call it a berm. I wish I could remember the name of it's some sort of
Not
composting thing that was supposed to enhance their agricultural pursuits. So, anyway,
has
the issue of whether the neighbor had a viable objection to the existence of this thing centered around, was it a structure? Because in the bulletin, we have governance over structures.
We have,
research
do we have governance over, so just to, and I know we're asking a lot of you, because you don't remember everything that happened in that meeting. Was the, I'm going to use this word, forgive me, offender that was the subject of the complaint, was their position, this is my art installation, their position was, this is our agricultural farming thing.
That was their position.
We have to have this thing to do what we need to do.
That was
Okay,
their
that was their position. So the question becomes, really, what purview do we have over sculpture?
That is exactly the question. That is
I
exactly
don't
the
think
question.
that word is mentioned in our bulletin.
It isn't.
Dinosaurs, I don't think dinosaurs are in the bulletin.
It's,
It's
they
only
are,
this
Is it
word
part of the
structure
landscaping?
is the one that is in the bulletin, and these sculptures do not
Be that the dinosaurs
exist.
are at this table.
I think that's been
Bada boom,
proven.
bada bing.
So Cindy,
we
I'm
have
sorry, it's so
purview
hard
over-
to hear
we
you.
have
Please go ahead.
Sure. Do we have purview over any kind of landscape features?
Which we don't.
Not at all?
Landscape system?
Features.
Features.
Landscape features, like a fountain had that he mentions.
Or
Yeah, so
trees.
kind of a landscape
or
feature. I mean, what if someone
hedges.
wants
I
to
mean,
put a patio
flagpoles.
in?
I'm sorry, Cindy, please go ahead.
Like a patio. Do we have any purview over patios?
That's a structure.
Yeah,
Is it?
well,
Hardscapes?
structure, it's-
Hardscape,
can we
I don't
do-
think.
may I suggest that we should
Adjourn.
entertain a motion to adjourn at
move
this
to
point?
adjourn.
All right, is there a second? All in favor of adjourning? Aye. Thank you all.
But I will read up on this, because I'm.